Good morning, hello, and good day, everybody, and welcome back to Powwow Dance Aerobics. I'm Dallas Arcand, broadcasting live from Alexander First Nation. It is another beautiful sunny day, and I'm grateful for another day here to join you and share with you some Powwow Dance Aerobics for enlightenment, for fitness, for wellness, for that self-love and self-care that we all need. And I'm just always glad to come and share. I'm grateful for another day. Always. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm thankful for another day. I'm thankful for my health. And by showing that, all I do by showing to show that is to invest in my health. And I'm here to share that with you as well. So I'm just gonna get right into today's lesson. Today's lesson, I actually called it to become like water, because I was actually, checking out one of my very favorite philosophers and teachers, Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee, one of his favorite sayings, or one of his famous sayings, I should say, is to become like water. When you put water in a cup, the water becomes the cup. When you put water in a bottle, it becomes the bottle. And as I shared before, 85% of our body is actually made, the mass of our body is actually water. And it's interesting. It's a full moon right now, and everybody's kind of feeling that when it's a full moon out, you feel that energy from the moon, because we're made up of water. And as you know, when the moon comes out, it changes the tides, it changes everything, it changes the animal activity and everything like that. So thanks for tuning in, and good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining. So with that, I have a quote by Bruce Lee that I'm going to start out with today. So Bruce Lee has many quotes, as you know, very inspirational. If you watch Bruce Lee is one of the most revered martial artists on the planet, because as you know, they're still making movies about Bruce Lee. They're still studying Bruce Lee, that he was such a character and such a charismatic individual and such a great teacher and great martial artist that he's still studied to this day. Like, I imagine he's going to be studied 100 years from now, even still. So the quote goes by Bruce Lee: "I wish neither to possess nor to be possessed. I no longer covet paradise. More important, I no longer fear hell. The medicine for my suffering I had within me from the very beginning, but I did not take it. My ailment came from within myself, but I did not observe it until this moment. Now I see that I will never find the light unless, like the candle, I am my own fuel, consuming myself." And that's a great quote. I thought about that quote, and I thought about, like my own self-talk and my own things that I go through, and people's stories that I've heard. Sometimes we're our own worst enemy. And like I said in the beginning of today's, when I came on today, it's about self-love and self-care, because only you can become your own, only you can participate in your own rescue, is basically what I'm saying, and what I'm relating to that quote. Because by doing this today, I'm volunteering my time to work with you, and all this takes is time. This doesn't cost a thing. I'm totally volunteering this class. So with that, I just wanted to reflect on that, and thanks for joining me. Thanks for taking the time, and let's go and get things started here with the Young Bear Singers. I'm going to get things going here with the very first dance. All right, Tanse. I see a lot of people are cheery this morning. It is Thursday. We made it past Wednesday. We're over the hump. And it's almost the end of the week. And we're almost at the end of this coronavirus. So I hope everybody's well. Let's get things started by a beautiful healing dance. Get that heart going. 1, 2, 1, 2, step. So let's get those steps going, those hands moving, the body pumping, the blood flowing, and let's move like water. Just like a river, when it bends and turns, it shapes and it feeds all life as you know it. Water, we cannot survive without it. Water is beautiful. Water is the greatest gift of all, and it's what gives life to everything, to the plants, to the animals, to ourselves. As you know, we're made up of water. Okay, so 1, 2 step. Everybody 1, 2 step. Just like that. And let's just shake that energy off. Splash that energy. Get rid of that negative energy. Release those toxic elements that we carry in our bodies. Alright. So as you know, most powwow dancers, when we're lining up for the grand entry, this is the step that we do. Before we go into the circle, we always start off small. We start off with this basic step. And that's how we graduate ourselves into the circle. As the dancers are dancing into the circle grows stronger. And as you know, if you've been to powwows before, you know that our elders lead us in. The elders and the leaders, the chiefs, the veterans, the visiting royalty, they all carry those flags and to celebrate our culture, to honor all nations. And if you know what powwow means, it means it's a celebration of all nations. So that's what's part of this as well. So you gotta feel that inside of your body to celebrate life. And that's what this is all about. It's not only just about fitness, it's about that cultural connection to the world around you. Hookah, that was the first song. So now we're going to get a little bit more intensified with our workout routine. I'm going to keep it simple but challenging at the same time. Okay, so let's go on our tippy toes now and use our shoulders, and we'll really get that body flowing and the blood pumping, just like this. Doesn't take much coordination, it just takes commitment to dancing to that beat. Just like that. Get those shoulders moving on your tippy toes. And now let's go heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. So let's swing those arms like this. There we go. We're in the groove. We're in the beat. Just like that. Dip, dip, dip. And we're going into that beat, that groove, that rhythm. Abdominal muscles. At the same time, we're building muscles in our body. So that's the second song. We're going to keep things going, and this is only our warm-up. You gotta find that rhythm. And the best way to find that rhythm is use your hands like this. So now I'm on the right beat, and the right rhythm. So when you're dancing, you should be able to dip to that beat and that rhythm. And this is not just about dancing. This is about fitness. This is about enlightenment, connection, self-love, self-care, and that's your investment in yourself as well as me and my health. Okay, so let's work out those hamstrings, and I call this the kicking your own butt exercise, because literally it looks like I'm kicking my butt, but I'm actually working my hamstring muscles just like that. And now, since we're in that motion with our legs, let's copy that with our arms like this. We're working our bicep muscles. And if you can, grab a couple of weights or dictionaries, and you can add even more weight, because as you know, powwow dancers carry a lot of weight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tippy toes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, that was our warm-up songs. I'd like to say good morning to everybody and thank you for joining. Now that we've got through the warm-up part, now we can stretch, because what I always say to my students is you must warm up first before you stretch, because if you don't warm up and you stretch, you could actually cause more harm than good. So that's why I always warm up first before I stretch, and that's something I've learned in my journey, not only as a hoop dancer, but as somebody who's spent a lot of time in the gym. So my stretching music, I also like to call my meditation music, because this is my own personal flute music. This is from my album, Sacred Sweetgrass. So there's the album right there, Dallas Arcan, Sacred Sweetgrass. So if you want to download that on Apple Music, either Young Bear or myself, as artists, we appreciate your support by subscribing or purchasing our music, and so I allow myself to use my copyrighted music. So let's get things started. Just get yourself in the zone, give yourself a moment, and find that rhythm of your heartbeat, and breathe in deep, breathe out. Get that breathing. The breathing is really important. Everything you do, dancing, singing, whatever, meditation, You got to be able to have that steady breath. You know I'm talking right now, but I'm still taking in those deep breaths to fill the lungs with that fresh air, because as you know, I'm in my porch right now and I have good air in here and it's flowing, and you know that everything's good. So now let's get into the first stretch, where we just stretch our arms. Start out with our wrists like this. Just every time I do this, I always hear my wrist and feel them clicking. And that's good because you're releasing the tension in your joints. Because your joints, there is a lot of tension there throughout the day. And somebody was actually saying to me today that, oh, we don't work out until the evenings. And that person is actually a crafter. I thought I would give a little advertisement to. So if you guys are interested in indigenous arts and crafts and such, check out Raven Creations on Facebook. And this lady makes everything from moss bags to moccasins and beadwork, and you know, there's a lot of indigenous crafters online, and you can place your order however you want. So check out Raven Creations on Facebook if you get a chance to. And there's also a lot of them on the social distance powwow. So if you get a chance to, maybe Raven from Raven Creations, maybe you can advertise your stuff at the social distance powwow. As you know, they have 175,000 subscribers, and it's totally free. It's totally free for you to put your stuff on there, and they totally support indigenous artists. And I'd like to welcome my non-indigenous friends and thank you for joining us today for the class, and all the ones out there, because this is not just for indigenous people, this is for everybody. As we say in Cree, we say kakyo for everybody. Kakyo, kenanas kumtin. We say thank you very much. So this one, you lock your hands together and try to pull them apart, but don't actually pull them apart. And you should just give this a little twist like that, back and forth, and that gives you a nice stretch on your lower back, your lumbar, and as well as your shoulders and your upper back. It helps stretch those out really good. Okay, then the next one we're gonna go for is our neck. So this one, you just let the weight of your head do it. You don't need to force it. You just lean your head over, and this helps stretch out your neck. You know, if I didn't do this neck stretch every day, you know, I think I would have injured my neck a long time, like a lot of times. Like even yesterday, I was working out in the yard, and I turned my head and I almost strained my neck, but I was thankful that I did these neck stretches. So then the next one after this is the shoulder roll like this. From left to right, right to left, just like that. Let your head roll from shoulder to shoulder like that. Just like that. And you should feel your neck click a little bit. Then the other more deeper tissue stretch is you put your hand on your shoulder and lean away from it. And I do these stretches every day, pretty much the same. And there's a reason for that, because repetition is the mother of skill. You know, I may be repeating myself over and over, but that's the whole point, is that it needs to become instinctual that it's like walking, or it's like talking or breathing. Like breathing is just an instinct, right? So that's why I do these stretches this way. I always do them the same way every day. Whatever day it is, I'm always doing them the same way. I'm always working the same muscle group. So this one stretches out the tricep muscle and the shoulder muscle. So you simply keep your arm straight, pull it towards you. And then same thing with here. Because it's like the great quote that Aristotle says, excellence is not a singular act. You are what you do repeatedly. And that's true. And that's how I won 3 world championships for hoop dancing, is that I stuck with it, I lived it, I breathed it, everything about my soul was about that. And I remember when I was first learning hoop dancing, they told me, when you get up in the morning, that should be the first thing you're doing, is hoop dancing. You should grab a hoop, start hoop dancing, whatever it is you're passionate about in life. Always commit yourself to that. You have to live it. You have to live the hoop dance. So this one, actually, you should feel that inside of your leg and the back of your leg and then the side of your ribs. So just reach your elbow to your knee like that. Typically every stretch that you do should be about 10 seconds long. Oh, that feels good. All right, this one, you want to plant your feet like a tree. It's roots in the ground. And now we're being like a tree. And one of the things the elders have taught me about trees is the trees are actually good teachers, because you look at them and they're all around us. And what are the trees doing? They have their branches up like this. They have their branches up high in the sky, and they're reaching, and they're worshiping, and they're saying, they're showing gratitude, and they're saying thank you to the sun for light, thank you to the rain, and thank you for the wind, because the wind makes us stronger, and the sun gives us energy, and the water gives us the nutrients that we need for our food. And that's what those trees are telling us by doing that. So this is a cool stretch, because we're like a tree, and as you know, trees bend and twist and they get stronger. So that's what we're doing here. We're stretching out, and at the same time we're strengthening those core muscles inside of our body. So we're gonna bend forward, and I felt a little click there in my back or my hip, I don't know, I heard it somewhere. And lean back, and there we go, just like that. Oh, that feels good. I felt that in my spine and in my core. That was a good stretch right there. So now we're going to work our way down and back up, and we start with our ankle. Oh, I don't know if you heard that little click, but I had a little click. So you just do circles with your ankle like this, because throughout the day we have a lot of stress on our ankles. You know, whether you're a runner or a jogger or a dancer, that's where your most stress is, just from walking. You can sprain an ankle easily, you know, just by twisting it. But by doing this on a daily basis, you're strengthening it, you're stretching it, and you're working out those kinks, because a lot of times in our joints, things get locked up, and as you get older, you get gout, you get little crystals in your joints. And one way to counteract that is to stretch and to exercise, and it helps work out those things. And then you can also take a supplement called glucosamine. Glucosamine is good for the joints and the body, and it helps prevent osteoporosis. So just a little food for thought there. So now I've been taking glucosamine since my early 20s, and I'm like 41 now. I've been taking these supplements for a long time, but it's never too late to do that. And the other thing that is good for you if you're on a traditional diet and you live way up north somewhere, bone marrow broth. So you boil the bones of whatever animal, wild animal like deer or moose or elk or caribou. You boil that bone and you get the bone marrow from it. This one is stretching the calf muscle. And we'll go back to this side, stretch the calf muscle again. And then from here, we are going to go into the hamstring muscle. Put your heel on the ground and gently lean forward, or lean sideways, I mean, and aim for your toe. And this one actually helps stretch underneath your leg. Now, I had some friends on here share on how these exercises are helping them to rehabilitate, because some people have had surgeries in the past, and some people have had knee problems and whatever. These are all strength building activities and exercises that promote wellness and help you strengthen your body in different ways. And you must do this on a repeated basis. Just like the body needs food every day, we have to eat every day, we also have to exercise every day. You gotta remember that. And the best way to start your day is to exercise. Because if you wait till the end of the day, well, that defeats the purpose. Because when you exercise and stretch, it prepares you for the day. It prepares you to take on the world. It prepares you in such a way in which your muscles are ready to take on different stresses throughout the day. But if you do it at the end of the day, you're already drained, you're already stressed out. but this gives you energy throughout the day. So just notice the difference if you work out in the morning opposed to the evening. It's the difference that makes the difference. I just thought I'd share that. So keep your legs straight, put them close together, and lean forward, keeping your legs straight. You should feel that stretch all behind your legs, all the way to your lower back, and touch your toes if you can. Even the floor if you're that flexible. Not everybody's that flexible, so I say just aim for there and gradually try to get a little bit better each and every day. So the next one is cross your leg over like that, and this gives you a variety of the stretch. And this is really important. You know, a lot of times you'll see powwow dancers stretching before their contest or after their contest. You know, we live in a day in an age where, you know, we have it easier than our ancestors did, because nowadays you can just drive up to a place and get food and you eat. But if you think of back in the ancestral times of our ancestors, like the early pioneers of this country, of your country, wherever, you got to think back in those days, you couldn't go do that. You had to grow your food. You had to work to get your food. You had to grow it. You had to go and gather it, catch it, pick it, whatever you had to do. And some people still do that today, which is good to see. You know, people are getting into gardening, and that's beautiful. Like even myself, I got a little greenhouse here in my house, just outside my house. I'm not a green thumb or anything, but I'm making that effort because you know, it's worth it. I think it's worth it to grow your own food. I got some growing in my house too. I got plants, and I'm trying my best to indulge in that as well. So, all right on. I see there's some people here. Heard your oh, so yeah, you heard my ankle crack. All right. Well, good morning. That pretty much covers it for the stretching. I think I covered all the muscle groups and whatever. So we're gonna get back into some dancing. Remember to have some water. So again, this is my flute music that you're hearing. Gotta have some water because our body needs it. We need about 4 liters on a daily basis of water. Some more, the more the merrier. So cheers to that, and cheers to you guys. So we're almost at a half an hour. They say that just 20 minutes of dancing burns 700 calories. Because I used to have this app. I used to use it, but I became so used to it and so educated by it that it's instinctful now. Like once you use something and learn something, it just comes instinctful, because I used to put in every little thing. Like even if I had a Tim Hortons coffee, it would show how much calories it is in it. So for example, there's a double. There could be, I think it's like 200 calories or so in 1 cup of coffee. If you have a double with the cream and the sugar, it's about 200 calories. And they say that the average adult diet is 2,000 calories on a daily basis. But 20 minutes of dancing, you can offset that. So if you have fitness goals, you want to lose weight or whatever, you want to just stay healthy or improve your heart health, whatever it may be, just doing these exercises can offset that by a ton. And I used to notice the difference, you know, like, and now I notice the balance. It's all about balance. So you got to think of it in terms of how I think of it is I think of it like a medicine wheel. Like in indigenous culture, we have the medicine wheel, and there is 4 parts to the medicine wheel. There's the physical, there's the mental, there's the emotional, and the spiritual. So all throughout the day, that's what our elders and ancestors intended for us. That's why we have the medicine wheel, to teach us. It's like a compass to guide us in life. That medicine wheel, it's like we're balancing that pie out. So we gotta exercise our physical, our mental, our spiritual, and our emotional self. If you indulge in just one thing too much, then that can cause problems later on. So that's just something I thought I'd share with you. So that's what the medicine wheel does and teaches us. So now I would like to go back into some more dancing. We'll do a couple more songs and then we'll do a cool down. And then I will do a hoop lesson right after that for you hoop dance enthusiasts. Because as you know, I am a hoop dancer, and I guess I can call myself a master of hoop dancing because I've achieved 3 world championships. I don't like to brag or put myself on a pedestal, but it's the truth. It's the way I think of it. Like Bruce Lee, you know, you must master yourself, and that's how you do that. So I see some of you are making comments there. So water, yeah, the more the merrier. And somebody's saying they count carbs because they're a diabetic. Well, yeah, that's important too, because, you know, diabetes, there's a certain way you can eat to actually offset the diabetes. Like, for example, I believe flaxseed is a good thing to use. So you can pour that in your cereal. That helps regulate your insulin better. I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I've researched these things and I've heard about them as well. Yeah, you're welcome, and thank you for attending. So thank you, everybody. So we're gonna get back into the dancing now with the Young Bear Singers. They're good friends of mine, and they're actually champion drum group. They actually were our drum group at the World Championships for many years. Mandaree Singers and the Young Bear. Mandaree is kind of like the uncles and the fathers, and Young Bear is like the children of them. And my good friend Nelson Baker, he told me, "Here, bro, you can use this CD, and I give you permission to use our music." So thank you for the use of that. And if you like their music, you can actually find them on Apple Music, Google Play, Spotify. And thank you, Facebook Live, for not kicking me off for that, because I'm only using this for educational purposes, to educate people on powwow music, as well to work together to improve our fitness and our health and our wellness. So let's get started again with that basic step, that basic beat. I'm gonna keep it nice and simple, so even if you don't feel coordinated, this will help coordinate you better. Okay, so let's get things started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm gonna go back foot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. All right. And if you're wondering why I count, the counting helps. Let's have a little water break. Have a little pause there for a second. This one's going to be a challenging song because it's Crow Hop coming up. So if you guys are ready, let's take a breath of fresh air and prepare ourselves for the next song, because the next song is gonna be a lot of jumping around, whatever. So the reason why I count is because that's dancer terminology. That's dancer that helps organize our information and coordinate our body. So if you get a chance to count, because the counts help you coordinate your body, your movements, and it helps organize the information in which a connection with your brain, with your heart, with all your moving body parts. It helps like block it and program. It's like a form of programming your body. And how counting works is in music. So for example, we use 8 counts in dancing because it constitutes as 2 bars. 2 bars of music. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is 1 bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's 2 bars. And that helps you organize it better in chunks, because that's how you know when to change as a dancer with the music. Because the music is as important as the dance, because the music is what fuels the dancing. So if you're at a powwow, you won't see dancers counting, but these dancers just know instinctively, because repetition is the mother of skill. Because these dancers have been dancing ever since they were like able to walk, basically. And you do this every weekend throughout the year, and you practice this. It just becomes part of your body, part of your thinking, your mind. So that's why we count. And if that helps you to count in those counts, those 8 counts, that's why I do it, and that's why I do it for you and for me, to help me do the moves for you to exercise and get these moves properly. So there we go. Oh, and Prevention Magazine recommends using 2-pound women and 5-pound men. Okay, I didn't catch all of that, Joanne, but if you guys read through the comments later, Joanne, there's people that share information on here, so if you guys want to share amongst each other, I appreciate that, so thank you. So let's get into the next song. This one is called a crow hop, and how that works is you gotta jump really high and alternate back and forth. So by jumping really high, you're really using those deep muscles. It's like doing a squat. So if you're familiar with squats, you're basically squatting down and lifting weight. But this is different. This is like more intense. This is like on the spot and boom, boom, no stopping. Repetition. And it's gonna burn. I promise you it's gonna burn, because it burns me every time. So let's go into the crow hop. This is only a 2-minute song, by the way. So if you can do this for 2 minutes, pat yourself on the back, because I certainly will for myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my goodness. Wow. That was a good one. Okay. So bring ourselves down now and get a cool down and go back to that basic step. So we're doing a circle now. We live very circular, like this hoop. We're always going in a circle, very circular. So we're keeping the circle strong by dancing. When we dance, we're dancing into the circle. Right on, congratulations for those of you that did it, thank you. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You know, I am sweating, and that's really hard. That's one of my least favorite dances to do is a crow hop, because as a fancy dancer, you have to do your best moves on every beat. When you're doing the crow hop, you have to hit every beat and be in sync to the drum, because it's about dancing with the drum. So let's get back into that basic step, that basic dance beat. We're gonna slow it down and we're gonna dance like the ladies traditional, just to honor those. Because as you know, once the powwow circle is complete, who is standing on the outside? It's our cookums, our grandmothers, our mothers, our clan mothers. All those, they're dancing and they're close to circle. And this is how they dance, like this. They have their heavy, beaded, beautiful outfits and they're swinging their fringes like that. And they're moving their feet like this. And they're keeping the beat. They're dancing on the spot. Our beautiful grandmothers and mothers all dancing together. So that's how we're gonna cool down. We're gonna cool down just like Mother Earth. Mother Earth cools down at the end of the day. So that's how we complete a circle. When the sun goes around the earth, cools down. Grandmother Moon comes out and cools us off. The sun goes down. Grandfather Sun. And that's the way we gotta think of it. We gotta think of those connections, because those connections are all part of us as human beings, as individuals, as we move through the circle of life. It's always completing that circle, because that represents the medicine wheel as well. There's 4 stages of life. There's when you're born, you're a child, and then you become an adolescent, and you become an adult, and then you go into your elderhood, and that's how you complete the circle, and that's how you live a full life. Some people don't get to that. Okay, one more cool down song, because I feel like I'm still sweating, my heart's still going, and as well, you gotta think of it like a thoroughbred horse that runs really fast on a race. You gotta bring that heart rate down, because we brought our heart rate up to about 120 BPMs by doing that. So now let's bring it back down, let's work it down, let's be patient with ourselves and not just stop, because if you stop, that could be dangerous and catastrophic to your health. So I want you to be healthy, and as well for me to be healthy. And that's what I do. After a performance, I gotta make sure to walk around, to breathe, to make sure my blood is getting oxygenated and my heart comes back to a safe level in which I'm not endangering my health or my body. So getting back into that movement. Oh wow, you guys are so tired. Well, this is actually going to energize you throughout the day, because your blood is oxygenated. Those red blood cells and white blood cells are exchanging back and forth, and those muscles are oxygenated. Your body is building. This is the greatest investment you could ever give yourself. This is the greatest gift you can ever give yourself. And the greatest gift you can ever give anybody is your time. So thank you for committing your time here with me, because I'm gifting you my time as well. And I'm volunteering this class every day for free. Somebody tried to offer me a tip the other day, and I didn't flat out refuse. I just said thank you, but I have all that I need for now. You know, I don't have PayPal or anything like that, and I don't ask for tips or money. You know, I do make a living as an artist by doing shows. However, because of the coronavirus, I'm not doing shows, but whatever, I got savings. I got food in my fridge, and I'm doing okay. I got a roof over my head. I'm living on the res. So I don't want people's money or anything like that, you know. I'm not a millionaire or anything like that, but you know, I just know how to survive, and I just want to make the world a better place, and you know, because I'm not a perfect human being, you know, I have my flaws, and I try not to let that bring me down, you know. I'm not, you know, I've done things in the past that I've made mistakes, and I'm not gonna let that define me though. I'm just learning off of them as I go through life. You know, life's about making mistakes, taking on challenges. So you gotta leave that all in the past behind you, because you can't change the past. You can only refine and define the future. So after this song, we'll get into some hoop dance knowledge stuff. Okay. Hookah. All right. Thanks for joining. All right. Now we get into some hoop dance technique stuff. I only have a few more minutes before I got to sign off, because I know you guys got a busy day, and so do I. I've got a lot of work to do around my house and whatever. But the first thing I will show you and teach you about hoop dancing is, people often ask me, what size do you make the hoop? How do you make the hoop? Or where do you get the material? Well, I will just simplify it as best as possible. Well, the material for these modern hoops, I'm going to share both modern and traditional hoops. So the modern hoops, you can actually get the material at your local hardware store. It's called a PVC half-inch pipe, and it's a PEX pipe. And it's the same pipe that you can find in your plumbing in your house. If you got a newer house, they use these plastic pipes now instead of the copper stuff. And this is how you put them together. As you see right here, this is the hollow point, and right here, this is a wooden dowel right here, and this is a circular dowel. You can find that in your hardware store as well. They come in like 4-foot lengths, and you basically just cut them into like 2 to 3 inch sizes. Usually for me, it's about a 3-inch size, so it's about the size of a finger, I guess, my finger anyway. And basically what you do is, I put a piece of tape. I used to staple them before, but what I found is that the staples do rust and break and wear, and then they become a hazard, and they could rip your skin or something like that. So I just thought I would share that. And this is how you put them together. And you basically just tape them like this, and then you can tape over the joint. And then on top of that, this is how you decorate the hoop after. So this is, you can decorate them simply one color, or you could also decorate them in 2-tone colors. You can get really fancy with them. Check out Cody Bwetner, or I can't remember. I gotta ask him next time I see him, how do you say your last name? Because I could be saying it wrong. It's spelled Boettner, Cody Bwetner. He's a world champion hoop dancer as well. He makes some of the most beautiful hoops on the market. But anyways, this is my 2-tone hoop, and I basically use gaff tape. And what I do is I wrap them around like this, and it takes time. You gotta take the time, but it is a craft and a skill. So I have 2 different colors on this one, and it's like a 2-tone color. Now, as for that, that's basically the anatomy of these modern hoops. Now, a lot of hoop dancers use these modern hoops because, as you know, hoop dance has evolved into the art it is today, but it originally comes from a ceremony of our indigenous ancestors, and they call this ceremony the hoop dance ceremony, and what it represents is basically represents a healing ceremony for balance and harmony in the world. And the hoop, it teaches us a lot of things. It teaches us about philosophy. It teaches us about life. It teaches us about the circle. Also, it's an educational tool as well. Pronounced Bwetner. Okay, all right, you corrected me. Cody Bwetner. Okay, thank you. Okay, right on. So I think that's one of Cody's friends, maybe Ruben Cole. Okay, thanks, Ruben. Right on. My name is actually a French last name, Dallas Arcan, so I can't even say it correctly myself, because if you go over to Quebec, they say Arcan or something like that. Anyways, I have an American first name, Dallas, And my last name is French, which is Arcan, but my birth mother is actually Yellow Dirt. So I would have been a Yellow Dirt if I wasn't adopted. Anyways, long story. Anyways, so we'll get back into the hoop stuff. So typically the old style hoops were made out of this. This is red willow I have right here. This is just a small one, and I left all the branches on it so you can see. But this is how our dream catchers are made. These red willows were used for a lot of things. They were actually used to make drum frames. The original drum frames, if you put a bunch of them together like this, and then you put a hide over it, that's a drum frame. That's how I've seen them in museums before. And typically that's how the hoops are made. I mean, the drums are made. As well, if you look at hoops like this, if you look at the anatomy of a basket, for example, the basket has about 4 or 5 hoops, and then it's weaved together. And the basket represents for family, represents for unity, represents for a lot of things. Not only that, it's also a tool in which we can gather our berries and gather our food in. There's so much things you can do with a basket. Now there's other things you can do with the hoop, like the hoop was also used as a teaching tool to teach young hunters hunting skills. They would have a hoop and spear game. So what somebody would do is they would throw the hoop, and the objective was to throw the spear through the hoop while it was in the air or while it was in motion to emulate hunting an animal of some sort. So as you know, hunting is a part of a lot of cultures, lifestyle and sustenance and everything like that. So that's a little quick tutorial on hoop dancing. Now I'm going to get into the hoop formations and what makes the hoop dance. Now we spent almost 40 minutes or so on the dance portion, so I've done a lot of the dancing. Now here's the hoop part. Remember, this is a hoop dance, so you have to be able to dance with the hoop in order to make it all in motion. So you can't just, grab a hoop and just start hooping. Like even the hula hoopers, even my hula hooper friends, they actually dance, but they have a different style. It's not indigenous style. They dance to like pop music or whatever, maybe EDM music or hip hop music. I haven't practiced my indigenous style to hoop to hip hop music. Same thing with my good friends Scott Sinqua, James Jones, all my hoop dancing buddies. We jam to hip hop music as well, doing hoop dance, doing these same moves, doing some hip hop moves. And then you could even see some breakdancing style moves inside of the hoop dancing, because I do a little move called the up rock, like that, like that. So I'm doing the up rock move. All right. Well, you're welcome, and thank you guys for coming down. So we're gonna get into just a couple of hoop dance moves. So one of the things I teach is spinning the hoop. Once you learn this trick, there's a cool trick you can do by changing back and forth. So spin it on your hand, and then you have to time that. You see that little window of opportunity? Like that, to change. And then you catch, and you change direction like this. Simply like that, back and forth. And then once you get used to that, one of the activities I do to strengthen my forearm muscles and my tendons, to strengthen all that without hurting or giving myself carpal tunnel, I go like this. All right, on. I see Michelle Goulet. Morning to you. All right. So this is a meditation strength training exercise that you can do even if you're not a hoop dancer. Once you get this trick, you can actually sit there and meditate, because meditate, in order to get a good meditation going, you have to have some sort of loop going on, whether it's in your mind or whether it is something you're doing, whether it's a sound or something like this. This is just another way of doing it through hoop dancing, this little technique. I do this before shows a lot of times. I will sit there and go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Get the rhythm going, get the rhythm going, get the rhythm going. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Back and forth, go, back and forth, go, back and forth, go. Back and forth, just like that. And that's all you got to do. So from there, what I do to incorporate other parts of my body is I use my legs back and forth. So I use my knee and I start to kick the hoop, and then I involve the lower part of my body, and therefore I'm syncing all 4 limbs of my body like that. And it's a meditation exercise that I do to snap my brain into the zone before I do a show, before I do a performance, before I do a dance at the powwow. A lot of times I'll play with the hoop and I'll do that back and forth like that, just to get into the zone. So that's another hoop technique for you hoop enthusiasts out there that you can do, whether you're a hula hooper or a hoop dancer or indigenous style. You know, some of these younger hoop dancers, they sometimes they credit me for them and how they dance. Like Thielen Kikanuse, a young hoop dancer. He's a teenager. You can see him on the Wii show or whatever that Wii. He told me that he seen me when he was a little boy. Actually, I think his mom told me. He seen me at the Canadian Museum of Civilization, and he said he was watching me as a little boy, and that's what made him want to become a hoop dancer. And I'm really glad that to hear that story that actually inspired like a few people to become hoop dancers, because you know I took it to the level like at the highest level I could, and I did my best with it while I was you know, doing all those shows and whatever. I always gave my all whenever I went on stage. I always gave my best, and I always still do. You know, like I'm older now, so my level of hoop dancing is very different from where it was before. I look at it from graduating from that adolescent adult phase into my adult elder phase, and where I'm spiritually connecting more and more with it. Okay, so now with that activity, we go into some other activities with 2 hoops. So here's how so while you're dancing, this is one of the things to consider, is that it's a combination where you're doing multitasking 2 different things at once. So for example, when I'm spinning this hoop like this, I got 1 hoop spinning while I'm dancing. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, pick up the hoop, 1, 2, bounce, 1, 2, and then I place that in front, and then I pick up the hoop like that while I'm dancing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now instead of stepping into the hoop like this, I'm going to actually go into a move, which this is a really cool one. This is where you just kick it up over your head, and you might bop yourself in the head, but that'll just teach you to be a little bit more coordinated. So all you do is simply lift this up, and you're gonna flick it up like that, and then see it's just hanging out in the back there. Now my leg's stuck, so the only thing to do to get out is to step out of it like this, and then you have the hoop right here, just like that. And that's your first motion. And you can get as creative as you want to be, because hoop dancing is a storytelling dance and it's an expression dance. You're basically imitating different types of life. So whatever you're thinking of can translate into these hoops. And it's not necessarily up to you to decide what the formation is. It's what the viewer of you hoop dancing, it's a 2-part relationship. There's a relationship with yourself and the hoops and what it means for you as well. It's up to the audience. It's up to you. What do you see in the hoops? Because it's meant for you as well. That's the healing part of it, is that you're meant to see a vision in it. And that's what the hoop dance really means and represents. So now, okay, right on. Thanks, Joanne. Joanne's like one of my biggest supporters, and a lot of you, like, thank you so much. You guys are so kind. Thank you. All right, so I bring this over like this. Bring that hoop over, and then look at, I just drop it now. And then I still keep that same motion by bringing this hoop over. And then all I gotta do is pop this out like this. And then the same motion, it's like a 1, 2, 3. See that? 1, 2, 3. And then I'm on the other side, just like that. So I go down like this, and I do like something low to the ground. And I come up to the sky. Because as you know, the medicine wheel has 4 parts. And in those 4 parts, I've talked about the 4 colors. I've talked about the 4 stages of life. As well, there's the 4 types of life There's the ones that fly. There's the ones that crawl. There's the ones that walk. And there's the ones that swim. So those are the 4 types of life. So keeping that in mind, a lot of times that translates through the hoop dance and a lot of the things that we do. So again, we bring this over. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. So that's another one. And then I'll get into the 3rd hoop. And I believe I've been almost on here for an hour, so I'll just finish off with that, and I'll do a repeat of yesterday just to show you that move, that special move that I taught yesterday. So this one's really simple. You dance inside of the hoop, you step backwards like this, roll it up slightly, slide your foot under, and then this back foot here actually slides into the hoop like this, and then you should be able to pick the hoop up like that. And there you go, you have it locked in your legs. And then all you gotta do is lift up one side like that, place the hoop in, lift up the other side like that, and then you have your next formation, which you can dance with this. You can do a lot of different things with this. And if you take out one side, you can do a formation like this. And if you put it back and you go on the other side, you can do a formation on this side. And then as well, just to finish things off, I'm gonna show you how to make a globe simply by doing this. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna cross this yellow and blue hoop. You're gonna cross them over, but we're gonna do it really fast. You have to like slam it to each other. So it's basically you're turning them inward. So they're out as far as they can go right now. Now we're gonna turn them in like that, and make yourself a little cross like that in front of your, right in the center. And then you have a little cross like this, a little X, and then all you gotta do is just give it a little straightness, adjust it. And there's a little bit of mathematics involved in hoop dancing, because you're defying physics in a way. And if you look at that, there's the more equal that the hoops are to each other, the more stronger of a spear that you make. And that's really what that is. So I thought I would finish off with that spherical move today with the hoops. And you know, a lot of hoop dancers do this move, but they do it very differently. Each and every hoop dancer has their own style of how they do this spear move. And you know, I have like 4 or 5 different ways to do it. So I just thought I would show you that again, just do a review from yesterday, because not everybody's on here at the same time. And I understand that everybody's kind of got their busy lives to do and whatever. So I just thought I would share that again. Who did I learn hoop dancing from? Well, the guy I'm going to credit that to is one of my old friends, Joe Chatsis. I went to school in Ben Caffrobe in Edmonton, and I had a friend named Joe Chatsis. He was from Saskatchewan, and I had no clue what hoop dancing was. I wasn't raised with my culture. I grew up on a reserve on Alexander First Nation, and there wasn't any hoop dancers here in Alexander. I remember seeing some people do powwow dancing, but my family wasn't into that, and I didn't grow up knowing culture. And so when I was about 13 or 14, I went to a native school in Edmonton. It's called Ben Caffrobe, and it was a high school. And I was just a shy guy, whatever, you know. I was a small guy, and you know, I get bullied or picked on or whatever. And I remember I had a couple of friends, and one of them was Joe Chatsis, and I'd hang out with him. And one day I went over to his house, and he had some hoops under his bed, and I was like, what's these for? And you know, like everybody else, when you see a hoop, you want to just, oh, is this for hula hooping? And I couldn't, I still can't do the hula hoop. Even to this day, I had hula hoopers try to show me how to do that. And if my life depended on it, I would not be able to hula hoop, because it's just weird for me to move that way. It's like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm not that feminine, I don't know. Or maybe I'm just not that rhythmatic on my hips, whatever. Anyways, when I seen those hoops, Joe, he's like, no, it's not for hula hooping. So he showed me a move. He showed me just one formation, and that was my introduction to hoop dancing. I thought it was cool. I thought it was the new magic trick. You know, when I was a kid, my uncles taught me this magic trick where you hold your thumb like this, and you hold your thumb like this, and then you put them together, and then look, you pull your thumb off. To me, I was always fascinated by magic. So when I saw hoop dancing for the first time, that was magic. So when I saw Joe, he actually invited me to one of his performances, and I went to a performance and I seen him do the whole thing. And I was like so blown away and amazed by it. I was like, oh wow, that's cool. So I just kept bugging him over time, and he showed me a couple more moves, and then the rest I learned on my own. And I've had a few mentors over the years that have taught me different things about hoop dancing. I even went to ceremonies and asked the spirits, what is hoop dancing? What is it? Like I invested so much time and energy into hoop dancing. So if that answers your question, who did I learn hoop dancing from? I hope it does. And where do I get the hoops? Rewind this video after, and you can find that out, because I've shared this a lot of time, and I'm sorry I don't always have time to respond to every message, and so yeah, some people message me, and I just don't always have time to message to everybody, and you know, I only have so much time throughout the day, and I like to use my day in a productive way as possible. So all the knowledge is here, though. If you want, I did teach hoop dancing about 10 minutes ago. I showed how to make the hoops. So I do post these videos, even though they're live. I do post it back on my timeline. So if you want to find out how to make the hoops and whatever in the anatomy, you can do that. So I am just well over an hour. I'm 67 minutes into today's class, so I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining me here today. And if you have a topic or discussion or anything like that, send me a message, and I'll try to address that on the next class or whatever. I'll answer the questions live on this video. And thanks for investing the time in yourself, for exercising, because this is not only for you, this is for me. When you come and join me, I do this. I've done this on my own for years by myself, and now I'm finally coming out live with it and doing a class. And eventually I'd like to develop this into a program in which can benefit more and more people. So thank you again for your support, your comments, and everything like that. And I wish you guys all the best and have a great day. As we say in Cree, we say Miao Kisagao. That means to have a great day, a beautiful day. Until then, we'll see you again back here if you get a chance, join me again, 7:30 tomorrow morning. I'm here every day, 7:30 Alberta time. So until then, keep fit, have fun, stay safe, and peace out. We'll see you later.